That arrow is a little low.
How fast would an arrow travel?
Oh, it depends on the bow weight to a certain extent, but approximately 200 mile an hour.
That was a better one.
Yeah. In relation to a bullet, he's making an adjustment there to his sight, so he was obviously not particularly happy with that first shot that was low, and then that second one, although well within the line, was still low, but he may have aimed a little higher to compensate for his earlier error. And we'll see what this third shot here gives. Oh. I'd like to know what's going through his mind just at the moment. Those three shots there. You see Eric Hall, he's still got 10 points for each arrow, but if you notice in the left-hand side and the right-hand side target face, his arrows are actually cutting the line. They are not clean, clear shots. They still give him a 10 at this stage of the tournament.
Just 6 arrows each to shoot, and the score's still level in the men's event. And the pressure right now on this gentleman in the white, Eric Hall.
Oh, we saw Eric in the previous end shoot some arrows that went low, and he's now just shot one that's gone high. He's not shooting quite those centre shots that he was getting before. I don't know whether the pressure could be playing a little part. But just got to aim off just the smallest degree to make those arrows miss that centre spot. Well, he's right back in the centre, right in the pinhole there again now. That'll help his confidence. Very surprised he turns around and talks to Don Valley behind him after every shot. Usually they keep to themselves and keep them very mentally isolated. Yeah, he seems to be flowing back into his old stream there now. He's got himself 30 points. That one, and the first one was a little bit touchy. But he's got himself 30 points now to give him 1,168 points. And Terry Ragsdale, of course, will need to match that.
And let's see if Terry Ragsdale, the current world champion, can match Eric Hall's last end.
Very clean, very smooth. Terry doesn't seem to be particularly bothered at all here. Loading the bow there. String comes right back. Peephole behind the eye, sighting through the sight. And shooting into the 10. I'd say it's fairly warm shooting there, then Terry's feeling it. I noticed him licking his lips there at lack of moisture as much as nervous tension, I suppose. Number 3 arrow. Very smooth and very even his rhythm. 3 arrows there in that target, well clear of the line. No problems there at all.
Well, the pressure really on with just 3 arrows left in the men's championship, and here's the reigning world champion, Terry Ragsdale.
Yes, it doesn't seem to be worrying Terry too much. He's just rolling into it, just cast his eyes up to the digital timing just then. You notice he nodded his head and his eyebrows as he knows that somebody's noised down the hall who missed the target. Yep, a little off to the left there, but still well inside the 10 zone.
Now, what happens if it is a tie at the end of this end?
Well, if this becomes a tie between Terry and Eric, and it seems very much that way, that they're going to have to shoot off. Oh, we have one there which is a little low. Now he hasn't shot a low arrow like that for some considerable amount of arrows.
Still a 10 though.
Still 10. He has 30 points and he has a score of 1,198 points, which is only just 2 points short of a possible round, a perfect round.
Eric Hall, who needs a perfect score to force a shoot-off.
That's right. And in the shoot-off, it works in the opposite to what it has been in the scoring so far. But the arrows must be clearly within that red, just the way Eric shot that one. Within the gold, I'm sorry, I did say red there.
So he can't have any liners.
He can't have any liners. If his arrow just touches the line from the inside, it's declared out.
So that's if a playoff eventuates.
That's right, if a playoff eventuates. He still has 2 more arrows to shoot in this, the final end. Nice clear cut one. To his second arrow, 1 arrow to go. The tension here is building. It would be building on Terry Ragsdale, who's sitting there pretending not to watch, but who's just looking at the target now and keeping his eye on what Eric is doing. And here comes the final arrow. And it's perfect score. We have a playoff. Perfect score of 30, 3 10s to make 1,198 points for each archer, Terry Ragsdale and Eric Hall.
And now the toss of the coin to decide the order for the shoot-off. And what's happening?
Well,
I think Terry Ragsdale may have won the toss, did he? Well, they're probably using an Australian coin, and they're not quite sure what to call either side. Yeah. No, they have decided, as Terry Ragsdale takes the bow, and so too does Eric Hall. So we've still got no idea who won the toss.
Well, they're going to stand on the line together and shoot arrow for arrow, one after the other. Now, Terry's putting an arrow in his bow, so I would say Terry Ragsdale has opted to shoot the first arrow. We see Terry now at full draw for this first arrow. Now, he must get his arrow completely within the 10 ring, and he has done clearly. There's no touch of a line there. It's a nice, clean, clear shot. Now we have Eric Hall, who must also have a clean, clear shot in this shoot-off. And he has done it also. Ooh, he said ooh too. We'll watch very carefully now here as Eric has his second shot. And it's a nice clear shot, but the judge will have to go down and inspect the target face, and he will determine whether that line, that arrow of Terry Ragsdale's has touched the line. If he's touched the line,
They're just waiting for the judge to come back and give them a decision, and they seem quite happy about it.
they're still on the line, so it must be within.
For a playoff, they seem very relaxed.
Yeah, well, it could be outward, of course. I know if it was me out there, I'd be in such a knot I wouldn't be able to stand up. But it's bad enough playing off for top score, but when there's money attached, I'm sure this adds some sort of tension. Terry Ragsdale makes another clean shot with his third arrow. And Eric Hall quickly to draw and to shoot, and another clean shot.
the shoot-off for the men's championship. And Terry Ragsdale, first to go.
Terry's first arrow was right cleanly in that 10 ring.
Now Eric Hall.
Oh!
I think that could be it.
That would be it. I can see that from here on the screen. Yeah, to me, I'd pick that as that's.
But we better wait on the judge's decision.
10, Hall 9.
Terry, that was one heck of a way to win the tournament in a playoff when you started 1 point clear. What happened?
Well, I missed one halfway through the round, and it's, I knew that if we could keep them all in there until the round was over, we'd have to have a shoot-off. And of course, there's not really any way to judge what's going to happen when you get to that point in time, so I just hoped that it would go okay in a shoot-off. And Eric shot real well today, so I was fortunate to edge him out there.
Well, Katie said that she was bothered by the hot weather. Did that worry you at all?
No, really, the last half that we shot, they got some of the doors open and a little bit of ventilation coming through here, and it really wasn't too bad the last half. I come to work from where it's hot anyway. It's not normally this humid, but the heat really wasn't unbearable.
Well, archery is a pressure sport. How do you go under pressure? How do you overcome it?
Well, it just depends on how you've been shooting when you go to an event. The thing I try to keep in mind is, that I've done this type thing before, and he's under the same pressures and strains that I'm under. So just try to hold him as close as you can when you shoot him.
Well, you're a professional archer. Is there big money in archery in the States?
Well, there's not really big money. We can, some of our bigger tournaments, if you were to win a tournament, counting any, bonuses you might get from manufacturers, you can possibly win $5,000 for an event, which is, very little compared to some of the big sports. But it's made some gains over the years, and hopefully we've made some changes where it can get a little bit bigger over the next few years.
What about bow hunting? Do you do any of that at all?
I love to bow hunt. There in Tucson, Arizona, where we're at, we have access to a lot of bow hunting around close, and it's certainly more popular in the States than say target archery is. But yeah, I love to bow hunt.
Thanks very much, Terry, for joining us on ABC Sport, and we wish you all the luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's where we end our telecast of the Horsham Indoor Archery Championships. We certainly hope that you've enjoyed the skills of the competition. So on behalf of my co-commentator Keith Gaisford, Clark Hansen at Horsham for ABC Sport.